So thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and hopefully you got a chance to watch all the other best practices that we have uploaded to our YouTube channel. And if you are upgrading to you're upgrading your WMS, or you're getting a new WMS, or you're switching your WMS, right? It will be worthwhile watching all these videos, because that will help you rethink all these best practices that you could implement, and when you get a handle on those and get the key ones right, everything else kind of falls in place and makes everything easy, right? So this best practice is about returns ASN. We talked about the ASN before, and we articulated it again and again how useful was the ASN, right? You were able to do appointment scheduling, you were able to plan your work in the receiving area, you were able to upfront get information as to what's going to hit your DC, and you could even allocate inventory in terms of where based on where the product is. You could even allocate inventory for some orders if you have a really powerful order management system, right? So like that, the returns ASN is also very powerful. And typically the way the returns process works is, a person, a consumer, or somebody wants to return, they call ahead and then they get a returns authorization number. So, they cannot just blindly return, because nobody would know why this is showing up and what needs to be done with that. So that's why it's important for the person, whoever is sending the return, to call ahead and create that returns authorization. And the returns authorization is what downloads as a returns ASN into the WMS system, and then when the product shows up and when they try to receive that product, they receive against this returns ASN. So it's trackable all the way from the beginning to end, and like the other inbound ASNs that are coming your way, you're also able to plan your returns work, right? And again, returns is not always the nice thing that everyone loves dealing with it. It's not a nice thing that everyone likes it. But it's a necessary evil, and it's only increasing as people buy more stuff online. And it turns out that there are other, especially the luxury side of the business, Zappos and Nordstrom and this new business model, Trunk Club and Stitch Fix. All those guys are getting even more returns than their actual sales, because every shipment that ships from these guys, always ships with the returns label, and people, if they don't like it, they can just send it back. And they can even schedule it such a way that UPS will come to their home and pick it up. They make it so easy for people to return merchandise, stuff, product that they bought. So obviously that's all going to hit us in the back end in the supply chain. So the supply chain operators are going to be, struggling, or they have to have a really, really sophisticated returns process in order to, handle all that. Right. And that's why it's very important to have a returns ASN, and that returns ASN, starts with the returns authorization, the customer ordering, or there's some kind of a trigger on the customer side. It could be just, shipping on that shipping label, where the authorized returns ASN is already created, and it dies after some time or something like that if the customer decides to keep the product, right? So that's something to think about, and then you're able to receive that returns, and then you're able to people look at it. That's another bad part with returns. Every single return needs to be looked at, and humans have to decide manually, hey, does it become a scrap, or does it become a second quality shipment that I can sell it in my factory store, or does it become a just clean it up and then I can sell it as a brand new item because nothing has happened, everything looks great, right? So all these processes, so based on typically the way it works is there is a condition code that gets applied, and based on the condition code, a disposition code is determined, right? If my condition is really, really bad, then the disposition code will be scrap. And if the condition is as new as it looks new, then my disposition code will be, hey, put it back in stock. If it's like, slightly looking shabby, then my disposition code is, hey, put it in the second store, right? So, those are the things that the returns ASN help with. And you have a clean returns process. You can go back and analyze your returns data. You can go back and look at it. You can do some studies on the item here. Why am I getting this item, or what item I'm getting back most frequently? Run some SKU analysis, figure out what the problem is. Maybe people don't like it. Maybe it's not, it has a lot of defects, give feedback to the manufacturing department and things like that. So the returns ASN is something that you want to think about and take advantage of, and implement that, and take advantage of that best practice, and implement efficiencies with your returns process, and have a good returns process in place. So hopefully this is helpful. Please share your thoughts, share your comments. Thank you very much for your time.